even at this age, the oven's 10, Zuri's 4, and I'm like, I don't feel the need to pack their summers. Like, it's just, they don't want to do it. I definitely don't want to do it. I don't want to slug them around all day long. At this age, freshmen in high school, now sophomores in high school, are you packing their summers with productive summers?
Absolutely not.
Welcome to another episode of Love S&D. I am your host, Dipti, and today we're diving into something every parent of teens is thinking about. And that is, how do we set up our kids for success without smothering them? I'm joined by my sister, Sheen,
Hi.
mom of 3 teenage boys in high school, and we're talking about everything: internships, extracurriculars, GPAs, and the pressure of raising kids in a world where it feels like, honestly, failure is not an option. So let's start with this. Our generation is made up of helicopter parents. And whether we admit it or not, we are hovering over every college prep step like it's the freaking, I don't know, NASA launch.
Yeah.
But is it helping or hurting? So let's start this conversation because I really do think that every modern parent needs to hear that, one, they're not alone, and two, what are other parents doing? So, Sheen, what is the vibe in your house right now with 3 teenage boys in high school?
I will say that my boys are still freshmen in high school, and high school is a short but very long journey. So there are different things that need to happen at different stages of high school. So we're still in the very early days of high school, but not without tons of prep. And I feel like a lot of that prep and need to do come from social pressures rather than like what we or the boys actually want to do. So, there's a lot of things like you need to build up your resume, you need to build up your extracurriculars, you need to build up your grades, you need to communicate with teachers, set up references, all that kind of stuff is all just things that they need to do, but it's just a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
you kind of lose the enjoyment of like high school and like hanging and like enjoying the process when you come under all that pressure, I think.
Yeah.
So
So,
I
like,
don't put that pressure on them this early.
I feel like our high school experience was very different from their high school experience,
Yeah.
right? We went into high school like time to have a great time, right? There was no immense pressure to succeed, right?
Right.
Like, it was get good grades, be good people, and on the outside world it was like, we'll expose you to as much as we can, but it wasn't the way it is now. Like,
Right.
build your resume and make sure that, like, it wasn't as competitive, I want to say.
Correct.
Like, it was competitive in terms of grades, but not like
Yeah.
in all aspects of life.
Yeah. And I think what happens is like it's just over time, things change.
Yeah.
Generationally they change. It's just that's exactly what it is, what you said. It is just so much more competitive now. And it's our
Yeah.
own doing. It's not
Yeah.
like anything outside has changed. It's like our
So
own doing.
that's,
Like we just want better. We want the next step, the next thing
yeah.
that's better, the next thing that's better. And honestly, for us, like it's just I feel like when I talk to other parents in my boat or that have older kids, we all have different mindsets. And I think that's what makes or breaks your children. For us, like we are not that family that pressurizes on grades or resumes or teacher letters or anything like that. We're just like, do well in school, build very, very good habits, and make sure that all these things that you do now are helping you to be successful in the future. It's like become disciplined, not
Yeah.
necessarily for the A, but to work hard. Like show me that you're working hard. By working hard, you get a good grade. Do I need hundreds? No, but I want to see that you tried.
Yeah.
I want to see that you're working hard and you're putting the effort in. You're not just like skidding by being like, oh, I got it. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So we want those habits built.
But I'm sure you understand where the other parents are coming from. So
100%.
I get that you don't necessarily parent under pressure, but there are times where your friends are sending their kids to like I want to say Kumon, but I guess at your that age there is no
Yeah.
whatever the Kumon
Yeah.
equivalent
Like
is, right?
extracurricular classes. Yeah.
Right. So like do you ever feel like you succumb to that?
No. We never sent our kids to Kumon. We never sent our kids to any of those extra classes outside per se. The only thing that we did do was get them tutors in subjects that they were struggling. So
Yeah.
whether it be like literacy or math or science or whatever they needed help in, we got them tutors for
Yeah.
that specific subject, but nothing to ever like be like, just be better than everybody else. And you
Yeah.
know what? Honestly, I don't even think that's the reason parents do it. I want to just say that some kids are just naturally crazy gifted and talented
Yeah.
and they just need more of a challenge. And that's fair. I am not knocking
Yeah.
on anybody's boots. Like you should do what works for you.
Yeah.
But as far as like this college path, now that it's like in front of me in a very short time, some of the things I know you were asking, like what are we doing to kind of prep or like just
Like
like
build that resume, right? Like not
build that
necessarily like
resume.
a professional resume, but like the resume
Yeah.
for college.
Yeah. And again, they say you have to think outside of the box. Like it has to be something so different. Like for a college to look at you, I get it. I get it. But you know what?
Yeah.
Like in my mind, instead of putting the pressure on us and our kids, we kind of have this mindset where like, listen, there's a place for everybody. Like, so let's not kill ourselves. But yes, I think you should be doing these things that'll build you as a person, not necessarily your resume. So
Yeah.
the internships, I mean the volunteering internships that they did with you, I thought was great. And we didn't do those necessarily so you have a law background. Our mindset was like, go in there, get this experience, learn how to look a human eye to eye and have a full conversation or even three sentences at the very least.
Yeah.
Like learn how to communicate, learn how to be people, like
Yeah.
those are the kinds of things we wanted them to come back with, like those experiences more than learning about the law system. Like they will learn about the law system eventually, but it was
Yeah.
more people skills that we wanted them to learn.
Yeah. And that's honestly why I even built that whole shadowing program at the courthouse to start with, is because I just don't think that kids, like freshmen in high school, for example, have the same amount of confidence and comfort in talking to people that
Hmm.
we did as
Yeah.
freshmen in high school,
Yeah.
right? And that social aspect is going to carry them so much farther than their knowledge
Yeah.
of like the law itself, right? So
Right.
we have many little projects that we have the students do just so that they can apply law to everyday life. But the main thing that I stress is that you are meeting so many different types of people. You're meeting judges, you're meeting the staff that support the judges, you're meeting prosecutors and public defenders and private attorneys. Take advantage of the opportunity and speak to these people. And I require them to get 3 business cards by the end of the summer. So they have to go up to someone and ask for
Yeah.
their business card. So it could be like, hey, I have to do this as part of the shadowing program. Can I just get your business card? Or it could be, hey, I really liked the way you argued XYZ. Do you think I could get your business card for the future? Right. So, like,
Yeah.
all those things, like, even if you're talking about not necessarily your kids because they have easy access to something like this, but even looking outside of me and my program to look for opportunities like that, right?
Yeah.
Look for opportunities where they are going to get to talk to professionals. I feel like that is like the main thing that they're lacking, even in school, right? Like they're
Yeah.
barely talking to one another. They're on their phones, and they're like at recess, they're on their phones, and at like lunch, they're on their phones. It's like,
Yeah.
talk to each other.
Yeah. So I think that like that program is the really good one for the kids. And it also, again, builds their background as far as
Yeah.
like, I did this. And
Yeah.
like another thing that the boys do is like in the summers, they have like they created this like soccer program where they teach little kids
Hmm.
just like endurance and soccer and skills and drills and all that. And they do that all summer. And I help them, of course, like do the signups, but they have to communicate with parents on what does this program look like, and this is what your kids will get, and this is how much it costs. And then they set up a schedule for the kids for the whole summer on what they're going to learn, how each training session is going to look, what they're going to gain, what they're going to go through, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like a progressive summer program for
Hmm.
these kids. And I think that's also important because it's another way of communicating, another way of learning how to teach. And I think that's a really good life lesson to have. How to teach and how to learn, I think, are
Yes.
so important to know. And so these things, like, I don't necessarily do them for what they are. There's like an underlying lesson I want them to gain, or a skill I want them to gain with these experiences, like whether it be communication, learning, teaching, all planning, all these things I think are so important for them to have. And for me, in my mindset, it's not about building this resume. It's just about knowing these things. When they go for a college interview, they're going to need to know how to
Yeah.
speak, how to be very charming. I want
Yeah.
them to know how to do those things, not like know the hypothesis of like blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know that stuff. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but you need to be charming. Like, that's the
Yeah.
bottom line. You need to be a
Yeah.
people person. And
Absolutely.
this
When the
party was the perfect example. Sorry, this party was the perfect example. I said, come outside and I want you to talk to all my friends. I want you to, at the very least, ask, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to celebrate my mom's birthday. Whether you know them or not. If you don't know them, introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm Shaylin, or I'm Sean, or I'm Cyan, Sheena's son, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want them to learn how to talk to people. Like, the, I think everybody knows this, right? Like, I think you've learned this too, even in the court. Like, 90% of your communication has to do with how you do it, not what you're saying. It's,
Absolutely.
and we've talked about this in other podcasts. It's not about what you're saying, it's about how you're delivering it.
Exactly. Exactly. So all the things that you make them do, right? Like the court program and then the soccer clinics, do they actually enjoy doing them, or is it something that you've pushed them to do because you know that those are the skills that they're going to be building?
So no. So they're definitely things that they enjoy doing. I have tried in the past to push things on them that they're not necessarily interested in, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't go anywhere because it's not their passion. And through the years I've realized that it has to be something that they truly enjoy. Like, so the soccer clinic, I mean, soccer is their passion, right? So they love
Yeah.
it. The law thing, because you're there and they can relate and build like a personal connection, they love it.
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell them to go to the local hospitals and volunteer.
Yeah.
So like, now I understand that. Like, I can't push it on them. If they don't want to truly be there and do it, then they're not going to get anything out of that. It's just going to be
Yeah.
like going to go. Like,
Yeah.
same thing with school. Like, I'm like, join the debate team. And they're like, no, that's not what we want to do. So I'm like, okay, do
Yeah.
what you want to do.
Yeah.
So
What are they doing in school in terms of like after school activities?
sports.
Yeah.
They
What
do.
are some like what are your friends' kids doing? Are they doing like debate and model UN and things like that? Does
Yeah, I
that
mean,
stuff even
everybody.
exist anymore?
Yeah, all of that still exists, like
Okay.
newspaper or like
Yeah.
band, like all that stuff, it does exist. Um, they're not doing all of those things only because, again, like, sports takes up
Yeah.
90% of their time.
Yeah.
I think that they should 100%. I think they'll learn from like a newspaper club or model. I think I did model UN. Did I? When
I
I
have
went
no
to
idea.
Annapolis, I think I did. No, it was a debate. I don't even know. Anyway, I did do that and I thought it was such a great experience. I remember being so nervous when I was at the podium, but I feel like those are the experiences that help you. So I tell them all the
Yeah.
time, I'm like, those are really good experiences to have, but they have like zero interest in that. So
Yeah.
for now, I let it go. They're still freshmen. Next year, maybe will I try to push it a little? Maybe, but like for now, I
Yeah.
just let it be.
Yeah, I think also that public speaking aspect is something that they need to start practicing early on too, right? Like with our kids, we have them do things like perform dances or like sing at the temple or like, do orchestra at school so that they are up on stage in front of a bunch of people. And I think that that's super important. I didn't do that as a child. I didn't do public speaking a lot. Like, yeah, we performed dances, but it was like, it was like our friends and family were in the crowd.
Yeah.
So I think that now I do sometimes have a hard time being up in public and I do get like very nervous and very uncomfortable. But I think had we maybe started a little bit earlier, it would have been more of a comfort space. But let me ask you about productive summers because, even at this age, the oven's 10, Zuri's 4, and I'm like, I don't feel the need to pack their summers. Like, it's just, they don't want to do it. I definitely don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to slug them around all day long. At this age, freshmen in high school, now sophomores in high school, are you packing their summers with productive summers?
Absolutely not. Summer is their time off. Their time
Yeah.
off from school, studying, all that kind of stuff, which is a lot. They do their summer sports like soccer and basketball or whatever. And then I'll have them just to like keep their brain active, like do like a book club or two, like just kind of on their own. Like, and now
Hmm.
we have ChatGPT, so it's like ChatGPT throws them out like comprehension and multiple choice questions on every few chapters of a book or two. So I'll have them do that just to keep their minds active. And then for high school, they have a lot of summer work. They have
Yeah.
a lot of like school summer work. So like that has to get done as well. So I don't pack their summers with like required like a camp per se anymore. Like
Or
that
like
was
an internship or anything like that.
they did yours last summer.
Yeah.
This summer, I don't know what they have planned, but I'm kind of letting them take the lead to be like, "Okay, what do you guys want to like do? Do you want to
Yeah.
do that? Do you want to do that again? Do you want to do something different? Like start looking into like we have all these friends who have all these different professions. You can intern really anywhere.
Yeah.
Sammy is adamant that they intern at a golf club. I mean, a golf club, a golf
Yeah.
place, and just like be caddies and talk to people, just
Yeah.
literally casually, just have conversations. He's like, that's how you
Yeah.
build connections. Like, just build
Absolutely.
connections all day long.
Yeah. And that's the other
Communicate.
thing, right? Like, Sammy is very much a social person. So, like, he can basically like hook them up with different types of opportunities,
Yeah,
right? So, like,
yeah,
even that little part, right? Like, Sean and Shaylin have 8, 7 siblings after them that are
yeah,
all gonna have to go through all this stuff, right? So, like, they're almost like setting these guys up. So, they're building the connections that eventually will help the little ones
yeah.
too, right? So,
Exactly.
it's like, that is a lot of pressure, but because they have Sammy and you who like have built this community and these connections,
Yeah,
like it's almost like a trickle down effect, right? So like if
exactly.
they start, they can help the process along for all of the kids. Um, but I do want to talk about, and I know we talked about it a little bit, but I do want to just take a step back and talk about the pressure, like your pressure, yours and Sammy's pressure, because I feel like you definitely are a helicopter parent. There is no doubt about it. So do you find that you're like constantly stressed about their future, about like the jobs that they can't get, or like the I don't know, the opportunities that they can and can't get?
I feel like I was a helicopter parent. I am less of it as they are getting older
Yeah.
because I am constantly reminding myself, especially in the past couple years, that I'm not going to college with them. So I
Yeah.
have to let go. Like I
Yeah.
have to let them figure it out because if I don't, I'm just handicapping them for the future. So
Yeah.
I stepped back a lot and I stepped away a lot, but I'm also in this place of like I'm keeping faith that it's all going to be fine. Like it's going to be great. They have so much support around them. They have so many amazing opportunities. Like, what am I doing that's going to change their trajectory? Like
Yeah.
they've got to do that on their own. Like they have got to want it for themselves. I cannot want it enough for any of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've realized that over the years, like before I used to be like, I got it. Let me do it for you. Let me do it for you. Let me do so much so that like this morning they were running late for school in my mind, I wanted to say, don't stress, don't rush. I'll just drop you off. And then in my mind, I was like, no, no, no. You know what? One day they're going to run late for class. I'm not going to be there to be like, I'll just drop you off. They're going to have to hustle and get on that bus or
Yeah.
get to class on time. So I was like, letting them hustle to get on the bus on time. And I'm like, but you, but no, you won't, Sheena. No, you won't. It's like this internal thing. Like, let
Yeah.
them figure it out. Let them figure it out. Let them like get a little uncomfortable because they've been very comfortable for a
Yeah.
long, long
Yeah.
time, you know?
Yeah.
And so I let them be and they made the bus and everything was fine. But that internal struggle went on for a little while this morning.
Yeah. And that's such a small example in the bigger lesson, right? Because, like, they're also going to have issues at school where, like, they get bad grades or they run into a difficult person or a difficult teacher and they're going to have to figure it out, right? Like, you can't go and be like, let me talk to your teacher about this. Like, that's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
And in middle school and before that, I would have. I would have been like literally there before they even finished their sentence. But now I'm just kind of like, you guys figure it out. And sometimes if they need help, I'll give them the words or
Yeah.
I'll like go through a mock conversation to be like, tell me what you're thinking. Let me help you with the words, but you've got to actually do the communicating.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's a hard transition, but
It
those are
is.
some of the steps that we take. So back to your question, how much pressure do we put on ourselves? Not that much, honestly. Like, we're just kind of like keeping faith and like we just kind of just know that they're going to be fine. They're going to be great. They're going to be successful. They're going to be happy. They're going to
Yeah.
be healthy. It's going to all be great.
Yeah.
And
Do
honestly,
you
like,
have a plan B? Like, let's say that they want to do something and they wholeheartedly move like full force towards it and they fail. Like, what is there? Are you setting them up with the plan B or are they going to have to figure it out?
they're going to have to figure it out, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
the right thing to do is let them figure it out. Will we help them? Absolutely. If they ask for
Yeah.
help, we're there. I mean, to be honest, like, Sammy doesn't even believe that the boys need to go to college. Like, he's like, they don't need to go. Whatever they're going to learn, they're going to learn in the real world through
Yeah.
experience. College is not going to help. So I don't completely disagree, but I disagree. Like, I think college is more than just the education. It builds their independence, their
Yeah.
character, the people that they're going to be without us. Like, there's
Yeah.
so much more to college than just the education.
Absolutely.
So they're going to go to college. They're gonna go to college for sure. But like, to know that Sammy doesn't even think that they need to go, like, in my mind, it just relieves the pressure even more. Like, you
Yeah.
need to go to college. You need to go to Harvard. No, should you go to Harvard? Absolutely, go to Harvard Law School. But that, like, no pressure. Like, go play. I mean, the twins want to play soccer in college. Go play soccer in college. Live your life.
Yeah.
Do whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, that's a good point because there is this like shift in terms of parents our age believing that maybe the next step after high school is that they go into a company that almost molds them,
Mhm.
right? The way they want the person to be as an employee of, let's say, Google, right? Like, and I don't know if that Google does that. It was just a random example, but there are companies that will take people right out of high school and they will basically train them to be who they need to be for that company. And so it's like you really don't need a college degree at that point. And so like, we've talked about this before, the pressure that we had, and I wouldn't say the pressure, it was almost like the expected track that we took. That's no longer the case for our kids, right? Like our expectation was we graduate high school, we the next day we're prepping for college. After college, the next day we're either getting a full-time job or we're prepping for the next, master's degrees. There was no room for our own kind of what do I want to do? It was almost like these are the expectations and you're going to follow them. But kids now, it's like the expectation is that they build skill and not necessarily come home with all the degrees you can possibly
Yeah.
get, right?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And like, also for college, a lot of kids now and parents are supportive of this, which I'm not completely in disagreement with. Like, kids will go to, if they're not sure what track they want to be on or what they want to do, they'll go to like a community college for 2 years,
Yeah.
1 or 2 years, and then transfer to the college of their dreams and then
Yeah.
graduate from there. So some families, like, financially that makes sense, like educationally that makes sense, like location wise it makes sense, like, all
Yeah.
there's so much sense to it. So that's another option that a lot of
Yeah.
families explore, which I don't think is a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, can like when we were growing up, community college was like, oh, you didn't get in anywhere else. So now you ended up at community college. That's not what that is
No,
anymore.
no.
Community college is almost like an extension of high school. It's like I haven't figured it out yet. I need more time
Yeah.
and let me just take a couple of different courses, right? Like let me explore everything there is to explore without paying a full tuition and essentially wasting that time and money not knowing, right? I think I mean, I honestly think that's a great idea. All right. Well, I don't know that I have any more questions. Do you have any more to share?
I just think that it's important for parents to know that you're not in this alone.
For
It's a
sure.
it's a lot of very important decisions that we as parents need to make, and a lot of very important decisions that we have to have faith that our kids are making and that we've taught them well enough and they have the right mindset to make those decisions. So you're not alone, and it's a big process, and the most important thing that I do is just talk to people, especially people that are either going through it or have been through it, because there's so much help. Like, there is no shame in asking. I ask a
Yeah.
million questions all the time. Like, I just even love to hear just stories of the college application process and what these kids went through, what these parents went through, just for knowledge, right? Like, knowledge is
Yeah.
power. And I just love having that. It gives me a sort of peace to know that, okay, they've been through it, they can get through it. We're going to get through it too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I did want to ask you one more question, and maybe we'll wrap up with this, but do you ever feel like the parents are competitive with each other when it comes to their kids?
100%.
How do you even deal with that?
I think that it's either you are that person or you're not. Like,
Yeah.
there are parents that will like do everything and anything to make sure their kids are at the top of whatever game in their mind is being played. And then there are parents that are just chill and they're like, take it one day at a time, and it is what it is. But I think that those parents that are like that, the competitive ones, all congregate to each other. And then the chill ones all kind of congregate to each other, because the chill ones are like, you guys do you. We're just gonna be here hanging out. Like. So like it's just so, I think it's a matter of how you've been brought up. And then also, like, what was your process like? Like, was it super competitive? Were you like expected to get into these Ivy Leagues and this and that? So it's like kind of just, it comes from before. I don't think you just become like that. And then once your
Yeah.
child is very, like, once you realize maybe my child is super like gifted and talented, then it kind of just comes, you're like, sure, well, I want better. Well, I want better. I want better than that for them. I want better. So now then you're just putting it on yourself. But I think
Yeah.
that that's like a to each his own, and you kind of just got to navigate that on your own, like whatever you're comfortable with.
I sometimes feel like it's good to even talk to those competitive parents because they've also experienced and tested everything, right? So it's like, well, this worked and this didn't, and this
Yeah.
helped him and this didn't. So
Mhm.
it's like, okay, well, like of the 15 things you've done, I think I'll take like one or two and see if my kid wants to do that or would be good
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think again, being competitive is not a bad thing, right?
Not at
Like
all.
if that's what you define as success for your child, good for you and hopefully everything will work out for you as well. But yeah, I don't know that none of the three of us are truly competitive when it comes to our kids and just them being the best at at like everything, right? Like we just want them to be the best they can be.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, good talk, Sheen.
Yep. As always, not
Um,
messing, just joking.
so thank you for sharing the real ups and downs of raising teenagers in a world that does feel very competitive, but knowing that there are parents that are going to, share their stories and their journeys and what they're doing to help their kid and, provide opportunities for them is great, right? Like just that's what we're here for. We're not trying to
Yeah.
hide. We have no secrets
Yeah.
about
Clearly.
how we're raising our children. Yeah. So if this episode hit home for you, make sure to reach out. We are on Instagram, chatting it up with you guys. You can find us on YouTube where you can watch. We are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And as always, thank you for listening with love, SD. Bye, guys.